I'm Dr. Steve Stevens, and I wrote the book Risking Faith because I didn't want an ordinary faith. Risking faith is really about the whole concept of having something that's extraordinary. You know, somehow in our Christian walk, it's become ordinary, it's become normal. And I think a lot of people are saying, now wait a minute, God's not ordinary, God's extraordinary. He's amazing, He's incredible. But yet I look around at people with faith and they don't look any different than anybody else on the street. Faith at the very core should have risk in it. But yet in our country we've created a safe, comfortable faith. But that's not the faith I see in the Old Testament. When I read about Abraham, when I read about Moses, when I read about Daniel, they've taken risks. They get on the edge. They go beyond what's normal, beyond what's safe, beyond what they can even see. As I wrote this book, I was trying to look at several audiences. One, I was looking at a lot of baby boomers, a lot of mature Christians who say, my faith's gotten shallow. You know, we've dumbed down our faith in so many ways. And I think there's a lot of people in that generation that are saying, you know what? I want something deeper. I want something more vibrant. I want something that can really help me grab hold of God in a different way. I also wrote it for a lot of 20-somethings, a lot of younger Christians who are saying, I don't want a faith like mom and dad's. I want a faith that looks different, that has more energy. I'm not afraid of mystery. In the book Risking Faith, we divide it up into 40 days because oftentimes we just need to focus on one thought at a time. Sometimes people just race through books or they kind of get little chunks here and there. But what we want to do is to have people go on a 40-day journey into the mystery of God. 40 days of just thinking about who you are, who God is, and what God can do in your life. And so therefore, it's a great process. It's all part of the big journey that we're all on. And 40 days can really change the way you think about yourself and the way you approach God. I don't want an ordinary marriage. I don't want an ordinary job. I really don't want an ordinary life. So why would anybody want an ordinary faith? You know, faith should be something extraordinary. Faith should be something that involves a risk, something that takes you beyond your comfort zone, beyond what's ordinary. And that's where you really find God in an amazing way. And that's where your heart and your mind and your life can be totally changed.